in auto history, and Konrad has that.
What?
So in 1903, George Wyman became the first motorcyclist to make a transcontinental trip across America. You know, think about that. He's on a motorcycle driving across America before there were really any roads. A 1.25 horsepower, 90cc California motorcycle designed by Roy Marks. It'd be like crossing the country
on your Briggs and Stratton.
on a Honda 90, right?
Yeah.
Wyman's arduous journey started in San Francisco on May 16th, and it took him 50 days and ended in New York City on July 6th.
I'll bet his butt was real sore.
From San Francisco?
I didn't say
That's
that.
where he
You
started.
said that. I didn't go there.
In 1903, David Dunbar Buick, former plumbing inventor and manufacturer, incorporated the Buick Motor Company and formed it in 1902 in Detroit, Michigan. In 1956, General Motors opens its brand new $125 million GM Technical Center in Warren, Michigan. Today, the Technical Center is one of the landmarks of the 20th century architecture. GM spent $1 billion renovating it in 2003. And do you know Mary Barrick made $29 million last year?
All right.
Sorry.
That kind of looks like a wind tunnel. The configuration.
Well, there's a wind tunnel there.
Yes, but
switch to the next picture. It's kind of a bigger view of what it looks like after the renovation. So that's the whole complex there.
I didn't know they had a football field there.
And then up in the upper left corner, you can see that red building
But
again.
I mean, just the initial impression of the design looks like a wind tunnel.
And then in 1958, in Monaco, France, Team Lotus makes its Formula One debut at the Monaco Grand Prix, the opening event for that year's European racing season. Over the next 4 decades, Team Lotus will go on to become one of the most successful teams in Formula One racing history. Jim Clark won his first World Drivers' Championship in 1963 driving a Lotus, beginning the golden age of Lotus racing. Both Clark and Graham Hill both won multiple Formula One titles. Clark also drove a Lotus to victory in the Indy 500 in 1965. And then years later, virtuosos like Emerson Fittipaldi, Mario Andretti, and Alessandro Zanardi all represented the Lotus team brand in Formula One.
Monaco
By the way,
this weekend, too.
That Lotus is in the Henry Ford.
Mm-hmm.
That car?
Yeah.
Okay. In 1981, the 20 millionth Volkswagen Beetle was produced in Puebla, Mexico. And that's actually in the museum in Wolfsburg right now, is that silver Volkswagen. In 2005, Toyota Motor Company announces its plans to produce a gasoline-electric hybrid version of its best-selling Toyota Camry sedan, built at the company's Georgetown, Kentucky plant. The Camry became the first hybrid model to be manufactured in the United States. And then in 2007, Los Angeles, California, is the first stop on a cross-country road show, but for the Smart car, the Smart 4.2 in the USA. And actually, I think that has kind of fallen under the Mercedes umbrella as well.
It needs all the help it can get.
Did you ever get one as a company car?
I did. No, not as a company car, as a press car,
as
yes.
a press car.
There are some Mercedes dealerships that use those as golf carts to take folks out on the
tour looking for the lot.
Yep.
Did you ever have one?
I never had
a smart car.
I was never so scared on the freeway in my entire life until I got into that one.
You could literally put that in the back of a pickup truck.
Well, that's not. You know what? We just need to move on. That's not even worth the words.
It's an automobile seed, is what it is. You plant that and you get a car.
Okay,
it's just bad.
That's this week in auto history.
Well,
Glad I brought back such wonderful memories for you, Don.
You always do.
all that is literally, really is a grocery getter. If you're traveling under 40 miles an hour, okay. If you got to have something that looks weird,
it's a golf cart,
drives weird, and all of the things around weird, then that's the car. Mars, you're not saying anything.
And then some other manufacturers followed it with equally weird cars. Remember Lexus did the IQ.
If you're going to do that, why not just get yourself a motorcycle and a backpack?
Electric car. Get an electric car.
I did drive a smart car at one of the events of the Texas Motor Speedway.
Are you bragging or what?
No, I was fortunate that I didn't have to get out on the highway in it. I think it was like 57, 58 miles an hour, as fast as that car would go.
They timed you with a calendar.
They probably did.
Calendar. That's it. I never understood that.
Yeah,
car.
me either. I was never a fan of it, and
Well,
they sold quite a few of them early on, and you occasionally see one on the highway here now, every now and then. I would feel totally unsafe driving in that because you're just
you would think that
looking up at an F-150.
You would think that car would be like $5,000. It's not.
Oh no.
It's relatively expensive for what you get.
Oh,
Yeah,
when
it's
they were
like-
new, they
it's
were
like
in the
half
mid
a car.
to high 20s.
Yeah, you only get the front seat. But when they first came to Texas, they made a big deal in Austin about you could rent them
Well,
for an hour.
surprise,
Austin
surprise.
weird.
Yeah, but they cars like that just don't work in Texas.
Thank you. Let's do.